funny story. I use this with one of my good friends. He was making some bad life decisions. Okay. And one day he was reflecting about his bad life decisions, and I wasn't judging them as bad. He was communicating that he wasn't happy with what was happening. Right. He was quite depressed at the time because he would find himself getting, a bit worked up, a little bit toey, and then doing things that he was very not proud of. Okay. So, engaging sexually with certain, girls or whatever in certain practices. And then he'd be, as soon as he would blow, he would have instant regret. Okay. And he just couldn't stop. It was just like this, perpetual cycle that was happening. And so I explained to him one day, I said, look, after all of the things you said to me, why don't you try this strategy? Okay. Next time you find yourself getting a little bit G'd up and you start getting on the different dating things or whatever, and you start doing the messages back and forth with the people that you typically do it with, just rip one out. Just rip one out. He goes, what? Fucking wank. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, can't do that. I was like, honestly, it seems to me that is the root source of your problem. Like the fact that you won't, masturbate yourself is causing you to get into these situations where you're just going to take whatever you can get, and then you end up regretting it and hating yourself, and it's this negative spiral. So no. And I'm like, just try it, okay? Next time you're getting a bit G'd up, rip one out. And if you still want to go and meet up with the girl after that, go for it. Go for it, right? But if you don't, then you've just saved yourself all that regret. So anyway, we can go away and then come back next week and we're chatting, and he's like, bro, you fucking saved my life, eh? You fucking saved my life. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, the other night it was happening, and I just thought, no, fuck, I'm just going to rip one out. He rips one out. He goes, oh, instant. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why was I even messaging that? But like, so for him, it has just changed because it's the thrill of the chase. Like in that moment, that chase, I don't know if you're the same, but sometimes you might be willing to do, almost anything. Like it's quite a overpowering sort of, feeling. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts on that would be that it's sort of an attempt of having post-nut clarity before you have post-nut clarity. You're sort of initiating post-nut clarity. It's like a pre-post-nut clarity. I don't even know what to call that.
And that's really what it is. It's the clarity, right? Because when you start getting the hormone production and all of that chase, I want to get some, I want to get one off, essentially, that's really what it's about. And so if you just, go, okay, like what I'm trying to get at is it's the thrill of the chase and that all of that hormonal cocktail that gets produced that can really brainwash you. It can change your perception of reality. It can change your behavior. It can change the things you're willing to do and won't do. Like it's like a crack addict doing anything to get some crack. Like I know many a guy that's like do whatever they can to get one off, right? And so instead of following through with the things that you end up hating yourself for, like I don't know if you've ever post nut and then wanted to like have a shower, but you felt so dirty you couldn't clean yourself. But like that's not a nice feeling. And so that's what he was stuck in that loop and he couldn't break it. And it was all because he wouldn't, he wouldn't jack off. And I was like, man, just try that. And like he would bust a nut. He would get the clarity, realize that was he doesn't want to do any of those things. And it was just the fact that he was in the chase mode that was sort of, clouding his judgment to go down these paths.
I could totally see why it would work for someone like your buddy there. I don't think that's an issue with me personally. I mean, I've jerked off before going out to the bar in case I would get with a girl. When I was much younger, I used to worry about that. Like, oh man, like I gotta last longer than my usual 30 seconds. I gotta make sure I jerk one off before I go out.
What do you mean like 2 or 30 seconds?
Dude, I'm lucky if I can get to 30 seconds, bro.
Get out of here.
I'm exaggerating, but
that's what a hope guy.
So I would, it's like going out with you can't go out with a loaded weapon. That's like the saying, right? Yeah. And when I was younger, I used to think about that, but in my later 20s and 30s, I never thought about that. Like I thought, yo, if I don't last, I don't last. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And to be honest, girls, like this is what I believe. I could be wrong. So let us know in the comments how big of an idiot I am, or how big of idiots we are. But I don't think girls are I think girls are more concerned about having that connection with a guy, and they're not totally bummed out if you can't last that long the first time around, because there's always options for round two, right? Like I've had many encounters with girls where, yeah, like I didn't last very long. And then, you let like 10, 15 minutes pass, and then you get another hard dick and they're excited to see it. And you go again and it's all good. And they don't even remember that first 30-second round that you had. So I don't even think it's a big deal, to be honest, right? Because when you go out and you're trying to chase pussy and you get with a girl, you're not just fucking her once. Like it's usually you're with her that night. You know what I mean? You got to fuck a bunch of times. What, am I right or am I wrong?
Well, if you only last for 30 seconds, for sure, you can fuck, I don't know, 20 or 30 times in a night, easy peasy. But if you're making love and it's a long process, 30, 45, an hour, whatever, then yeah, there's less opportunity for that and it's slightly more taxing. But I know what you mean. I definitely do.
I have never had sex for half an hour. Never once, dude. Like the longest was maybe like 15 minutes and I was high on Molly.
Get out of town. Are you serious?
I swear to God, bro. I don't get how guys can go more than that. I don't get it. Like,
if you blow the first time, have you ever tried to come a second time? It's near impossible.
I can nut the second time. It's the third time where it's impossible. But if I know that I'm not gonna nut, I lose my boner. If I know like this isn't gonna happen, I lose all interest.
You're thinking
I think I have an issue where like it's all about blowing my load. You know what I mean? Like it's this whole encounter is just about me blowing my load, and I think that's like an issue, because as soon as I know I can't, my boner's gone.
I love that.